Let's begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there. We have not left you. Podcast76 is still here, but we've been away for a while. I'm Ruskeydoo.
And I'm Grey.
And it is I who must apologise for us not having episodes in. I've been horrendously ill. And in fact, I'm still a bit peaky now. So if you hear me clearing my throat multiple times in this episode, it isn't because I'm trying to get Grey's attention for some social faux pas he's making. It's just because I'm full of phlegm.
I like the idea that I'm making such a bad social...
What? Carry on.
Nothing.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we have a mountain of stuff we haven't covered.
Yeah, so we're just cutting a lot of that out.
Yeah, we're not going to go into many of the details unless something particularly interests us. But hey, you're used to us, picking and choosing what we decide is news. That's what being a journalist is, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you literally reported everything you saw, it'd be an extraordinary torrent of crap, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Well, don't say that. It reminds me too much of being ill.
Yeah, with journalistic integrity, let's move forwards.
Yes. So what has happened in this last week, 3 weeks, nearly a month? There's been a number of updates. Overwatch League has happened. There's been some forum stuff and a Jeff Kaplan interview.
Yeah.
Now, the updates. There's been, 3 big ones?
There's 3 things which are worth talking about, which is the PTR, the Overwatch League going live with the skins and stuff update, and then the Blizzard World / cosmetic update. Yes.
So let's start with the PTR, shall we?
Yeah, sure. So the main things to talk about with the PTR are the Mercy and Junkrat changes, because...
long-awaited.
Yeah, really long-awaited, and which theoretically will be dropping any time now.
Well, right, it's not going to be dropping into live any time now, right?
No, Jeff said the changes wouldn't be coming with the Blizzard World update, but would be following shortly after.
Oh, really? Because that's way back when they were originally talking about the Mercy changes, they were saying that this PTR one was just an initial toe in the water to see how it worked and what people's reaction was, and they were going to iterate it multiple times.
Yeah, that's not really happened, but my sense is that it's actually probably very difficult to get. They've said this before, but it's difficult to get good data out of the PTR. Yeah,
no, entirely. It's almost... Okay, here's what I think they were doing with the Mercy changes, because the Mercy changes were pretty massive. It's reses... It basically changed Valkyrie so that the reses aren't instant. You don't get a bonus charge of Resurrect. The speed boost that you've got is decreased, and the duration is decreased. So it's like a horrendous nerf. When I first saw this, I'm like, those changes are so brutal. What I think they're doing is they're gonna say, oh, we might do this, which is horrendous, and everyone goes, oh my god, no. And they go, okay, we'll reel it back to what we actually wanted, but we're not going to tell you it's actually wanted, because now you're really happy because it's not as big a nerf as the one we just showed you. You know what I mean?
I actually think that even with these changes, Mercy is still quite strong.
Yes, possibly, just because Res is crazy.
Res is crazy, and it's something that has been talked about so much, but it's just so strong that balancing it has just turned out to be a real pain.
Yeah. I mean, what worries me most about these changes is they're not fun.
No.
None of these changes oh man, that's going to be fun to play Mercy. The slower res is just it doesn't feel powerful and Shazam and dynamic. It feels
it feels a bit like trying to pull someone out of mud.
Yeah.
I would not play that mini game.
If this goes in though, I suspect the comp scene, the comp ladder, will be very happy, because if you want to play Mercy, I'm sure you can, but it's not going to be the must pick that,
Yeah, I think the problem is that Mercy has been such a must pick for so long that the amount of people that this act is going to affect negatively is very, very small. The amount of people who just really, really want to play lots and lots and lots of Mercy relatively small to the rest of the community. And the rest...
I don't know about that. There's a huge base of Mercy players, especially in quick play.
I agree, but relative to the rest of the community.
Okay, but I mean, what you're saying is some people have to take a hit for the greater good. But say for the quick play community, which is the vast majority of players, they don't have to pick Mercy.
That's true.
In quick play, you pick Mercy if you want to play Mercy, and you don't if you don't. So I'd argue that this is actually, it's making things much better for the upper echelons of the comp community, which is a hell of a small minority. And I think this is going to be a massive kick in the genitals for a lot of quick play Mercy mains.
That's fair.
Because Mercy, I'd say, possibly more than any other character, has a really cult following. If you want to do Mercy things, you pick Mercy. If you want to do soldier things, well, there's a lot of characters that do soldier things.
Soldier, Bastion, to an extent, McCree, maybe even a wrestler.
If you want to do Rhine things, then there's a few characters that can do Rhine things. But if you really want to do Mercy things, Mercy things are pretty unique, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not sure this is what's going to go through. We will see.
We will see. I'm worried about the fun factor, and I'm worried about the fact that it's not going to be, that it's still not going to be enough. Maybe.
Yeah. Just one last thing. Concept. You got a load of people complaining they have to play Mercy and they don't enjoy Mercy because Mercy's so good. There's two problems there. One, you want to reduce how powerful Mercy is, so she's more in line with the other healers, so people don't have to. But two, there's a secondary thing that you could try and make Mercy more engaging.
Yeah, but you have to make her more engaging to play against as well as to play as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not easy, but things I think we discussed this a couple of weeks back, but Mercy's rezzing people as Mercy isn't an engaging mechanic.
Yep.
Pressing a button, getting someone else back to life. It's not like you're doing something cool. It's kind of you've got a really powerful ability that lets someone else do cool things.
Yeah, but you say that, but I remember when people loved hitting those clutch 5-man rezzes.
Yes.
They felt powerful in that moment.
Yeah. And that's good. But that's my point. The res mechanic, to balance that in a way that is going to be good for the game as a whole and also good for the person doing it.
Yeah, I think they are going to continue to struggle.
Yeah, and I mean, those 5-person Mercy reses were deemed unhealthy enough that we lost the whole 5-person Mercy res business.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you think they will eventually just remove res and give her something different?
I don't know. I feel there would be a massive kickback from the community if they did that, and I think that's what Blizz is scared of. The res mechanic is in general. I know there was an interview with loads of people from the comp league and stuff, and one thing that they kept saying in it was, I think it was about what's your least favorite mechanic, and loads of them were just res in a game like this is too much. The ability to bring a player back to life, it's never going to feel good for the person who actually managed to kill that person. It's just
yeah. I'm with you. I wonder if we'll eventually get an Uber mechanic instead.
Or the old TF2 days.
Exactly like the old TF2 days.
Maybe. I hope not.
I hope not.
I don't know. I don't have any solutions on this one. Junkrat.
Yes. Junkrat's changes are that the mine that Junkrat throws out has damage fall off. And what they mean by damage fall off, because I didn't understand this at first, because when I think of damage fall off, I think if they're further away, they take less damage.
Yeah, no, it's a blast area damage fall off, right?
Yes. Junkrat's mines had no damage fall off in terms of the blast area. Now they have damage fall off in terms of the blast area. So if you hit the mine perfectly, still 120 damage.
Yeah.
If they're on the radius, less damage.
Yeah. It's a subtle change. I think it's a good one.
It's a good place to start, but I'm worried that this is going to continue to be throwing mines into people just does so much.
Here's what I like to see, and other people have been mentioning, is that something with Junkrat's regular Mouse 1 grenades is that have a damage bonus for getting direct hits and a damage reduction for if they're just lying around and they randomly hit someone.
Absolutely. This is what happened with the Demo Man in TF2. Like, once it hit a wall, significantly less damage. I think the things that I'd like to see is, I wouldn't mind if they had faster projectile speed and they could go further, but had smaller hitboxes, and you then had that damage reduction upon hitting the wall. But
then we do have the whole like Soldier 76 effect, where like that's making Junkrat less Junkrat and more like the average character.
It's the arc that's interesting, isn't it?
I think the area control's interesting too. I think, although it's just awkward that like, if you just die to something that the person who shot it didn't even intend, it's a bit like... Ugh.
That is my entire experience of playing against Junkrat. Like, people just dying to stuff where it wasn't aimed at me. Mostly bouncing stuff off walls and hoping.
Yeah, it should be stressed that, like, in fact, something we're going to talk about later is Blizzard are looking at Hanzo, and it's basically because of this issue with the scatter arrow. It doesn't feel good to just be killed in what feels like a very random way. Yeah,
the other thing about the about Hanzo is super quiet, super sneaky, super ninja-like. Especially his arrows, because like with Widowmaker, when a shot whizzes past you, you know when it's whizzed past you because it's really fucking loud.
Yeah,
but when Hanzo's arrows go past you, like, it's actually really quiet, so you may not realize that it's quite so much spam fire is coming down a choke, and then you die to something like a scatter. Just like, I didn't know that was coming.
What I thought, as a tank main, one's experience of Hanzo is, normally Hanzo isn't too much of an issue. You get your shield up or you dodge him or whatever. It's just every now and then you just go, oh, I'm dead. Oh, of course it was a scatter arrow. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's that old, the one-hit kill tends to not be fun.
Yes. Doesn't feel like there's counterplay.
Yes.
And kind of the to and fro and playing counterplay, that's what is fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I think this Junkrat change feels like kind of move in the right direction. I know. I'd like to see how it played out live, and then we can make a judgment after that. You know what I mean?
My prediction is, you know what? I think it's probably going to be about right, but I want it to be more. But I think that's personal rather than...
I think it... Here's my take. It'd sort out the balance issues, but I think it might not sort out the fun issues. How does that sound? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, next up, we have what went live with like all the maps and stuff. Or do we want to do the
Overwatch League first?
League? Should we do League?
I'll tell you what. No, let's talk about live, and then we can roll the League patch into the rest of the Overwatch League.
Okay, wait, because there was... Which is the first live one? Oh, it's all the League team skins and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so wait, which are we doing now?
We're doing the Blizzard World / cosmetic update.
Okay, let's do the Blizzard World stuff. Yes, that makes sense, because then segues.
Exactly. So yeah, live is a patch with the most cosmetic content we've had in one patch, I think.
This is very exciting.
It's very, very nice. Lots of shiny new skins, all added to the base loot box.
Yes. And do we want to talk about the skins individually? I think they've done a great job on most of them.
I don't particularly feel the need to talk about any individual bit, but
yeah,
I think just the base loot boxes, people don't spend money on them.
No,
they're not something that's a money maker for Blizzard, but it feels really good that they've expanded, and that they've expanded so much with all the new emotes and the highlight intros and the skins and the voice lines, and just so much of extra content just feels good, because getting loot boxes from games feels good again for me.
Yeah, because you're getting stuff.
I'm getting stuff.
Although I'm going to throw it out there, I think this will make them money, even though people aren't going to spend money on these loot boxes.
Oh, because you're not saving up as much money from all your dupes?
I think it's going to... I think it's going to clear out your gold. Because people are going to be like, they're only 1,000 for these skins. Yeah, sure, I'll spend a load of like my gold on getting some skins that I want. And then Lunar New Year comes out, when skins are going to be 3,000 if you want to buy them. And suddenly... you don't have any money.
I spent all my gold on that thing that I didn't have to. Yeah.
So I think even if this doesn't directly make money for Blizzard, I think it will indirectly make money for Blizzard, and that's good because that's what cosmetics should be doing.
Absolutely. 2 thumbs up on all of that.
2 minor points about this one. Holy crap, it's really made me want to be able to change weapons from different skins.
Oh, so like you can have the hammer from one
Yes,
Reinhardt
oh god,
skin.
the new Reinhardt hammer is amazing. I really like it. I'd love to put that on other Reinhardts, but who knows. Other things of note, Orisa now has a good skin, which I find glorious. And a little bit that I found odd about the advertising of, okay, you've got the D.Va Black Cat, right?
Yes.
And on the video that they played on Twitch, it has the D.Va voice line saying, check me out. And it made me think of that song, I'm a cat, meow, check me out. And I wonder if someone at Blizzard has brainwormed in some part of their head the I'm a cat, meow, check me out meme.
You did that to me.
Yes, I did. And it's in your head forever now. And,
yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make me a good
and
person.
I don't appreciate it.
It's happened now. Let's move on.
Yes. Let's talk about the Overwatch League.
We haven't talked about the map.
Oh, God, no, the map. Jeez. Yeah, that old thing.
No, we kind of OD'd on the map over the last few days.
Yeah.
We basically just played the new map. And is it fair to say by the end of it, you were feeling pretty goddamn sick of that map?
I was pretty sick of that map.
Yeah, I was feeling
I'll be
it.
honest. I'm actually really much more looking forward to playing it in competitive, because my feeling with that map is it's very easy for people to get stranded, and in competitive, people are more likely, I know it's not guaranteed, but more likely to group up, and being grouped up on that map, I think is going to be super important.
Yes, because there's some big areas.
There's some big areas. There's a lot of high ground, which is important to hold. Pharah's really strong if you're all split up. And then
but maybe if you're moving as a unit,
once you're grouped up, she's a lot less strong. Like, her ability to poke the sightlines is a lot weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, I think that overall, it feels like it's got potential, but the first point feels weird to me.
It's bizarre. There's no obvious place to hold.
There is no place that...
Maybe that's just a case of, do you know what, give it a little bit and a meta will develop.
Yeah, I imagine it will, but it's one of those things of like, you forget with maps that you didn't know where to place yourselves.
Yes.
When you first started playing them. Because I can't not remember holding Volsky Industry in that choke.
Yeah, that's just what you do.
It's just what you do.
A lot of comp teams don't.
It's true. Like,
they hold high ground,
but they have the coordination to hold high ground.
Yes. Ooh, I would say one thing about the new map, which is I wish they'd remove a load of crap moving around in the sky.
Oh, absolutely, because you just mistake them for Pharahs.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And actually, I have the same problem on Oasis, where there's these things that fly
there's
around.
Little things hovering around, yeah.
Yeah, and when you're looking out for a Pharah, you shoot
just
at them.
seeing something moving in the sky, like, oh, it's a... No, it's not.
Yeah, no, crap moving around in the sky. Bad idea. Stop it.
Yes. Okay, should we talk about the Overwatch League?
Yes, we should.
Because this has started.
It has really started in a big way.
Yeah. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
I've been enjoying it. There's a lot of good Overwatch going on there.
Yeah, and there's something about the live experience which I haven't had from a product in a very long time. Like watching something live with like a load of your friends chatting on Skype. You know, you have the commentary on quiet, but then like you guys are just talking about the match.
Yes.
I really find very enjoyable.
I want to be able to switch off the commentators and talk just with my friends whilst watching this, because that is my favourite way to watch this, because you're all seeing the exact same thing.
Well, I mean, it depends if you like someone gets horribly out of sync.
But for the most part, you're all seeing basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And then you get to talk about like what you think's going on and what you notice. And the thing that I've noticed is that I keep thinking team fights are going one way and then they swing back the other way and I don't know what it is until afterwards.
It's Bdosin on fucking...
It's all Bdosin.
Zenyatta.
Just going
like,
ham.
Oh, London Spitfire have almost lost, and then Bdosin just like gets a 3k or something with Zenyatta. It's absolutely nuts.
But you assume that he's been working away at that for a while, right? I assume that like those team fights have been going this way slowly, but like Bdosin has just been chipping away at people in the backlines and then
Bdosin doesn't chip at people.
Oh no, he right clicks.
Charges up his right click, pops out, goes bruh bruh bruh, and then disappears again. And then charges a right click, and then just walks out, goes, "Oh, someone there, bruh," and just regurgitates on them. And
it is crazy how big a buff that right click change has been to Zenyatta.
Yes, that it's all perfectly aimed.
Yeah, like because it used to be that there was a spread to it, and it turns out having perfectly accurate snipe is just really strong.
Well, it's also like I haven't ever played Zenyatta like that. I'm always like doing consistent damage with the left click, but it makes so much sense. Like, just don't be somewhere you can get shot unless you're unleashing damage, and this is just a much more efficient way of doing that.
Yeah,
and there's been a lot of that in the Overwatch League. I'd love seeing how... Okay, so I mean, I don't play Overwatch at a level even vaguely nearing that, but like watching people do something which I enjoy doing to this like super high level, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I really would like to be able to, and we've talked about this a lot, but would really like to be able to spec people that I want to spec rather than be forced into individual, into the narrative that they're being forced upon.
Yeah, having the spectators choosing which camera we're looking from, I would love to be able to just like stick it on the players that I want to watch, usually the tanks, and yeah.
So I was thinking about this a little bit and wondering, what... The thing is, if you watch just one person, you tend to miss a lot of stuff. But could you imagine if if part of the interface was like these little highlights where someone does something that like swings the team fight or, you know, does something cool, and that comes up as a part of the feed, so that like in the middle of something you can go back and watch a highlight that the broadcasters have pushed to everyone?
Way that I've done this in the past is because I have a 2-monitor setup. I'll have the commentary over on one monitor, like the general experience that everyone else is getting, and then I'll be like in game changing my own cameras on the main monitor. And that's a really good way to view comp games in my experience.
That's pretty cool, that is. I like that.
It's neat.
Yeah. The other thing that I've learned from watching a lot of Overwatch League is I really think that Widowmaker's a bad hero for this game.
Yes, it does shut down a lot of stuff, and it's also so binary.
Yes,
like if the Widowmaker hits the headshots, then the Widowmaker's great, and if the Widowmaker doesn't hit the headshots, the Widowmaker is nothing.
Yes, and it sometimes feels like there's no way they could have known that Widowmaker was in that spot at that time when they peeked around that corner, and there's just no real interaction.
Well, that's playing odds, but yeah, it's got something I remember very much from the competitive Highlander days on TF2, which is you'll have two teams with like snipers, and they're playing a different game until one of them wins that game and kills the other sniper. And then the other team is in, we don't have a sniper, and they do have a sniper state, which is awkward.
Yes. And that Tracer needs a nerf.
Oh, because she's getting played so much.
She's getting played so much, and she's just... It feels like she's pushing other heroes out because she's so good.
Well, I mean, okay, so an interesting thing about Widow and Tracer is that they are characters which scale really badly with how good the players playing them are. As in, at like a medium level of the game, they're probably fine because people aren't that good. But as you get to like the top end of players where, you know, aim becomes really, really good, Widowmakers can always click heads and Tracers can put in consistently huge amounts of damage, then they become more and more of an issue, right?
Yes.
And that's awkward. I don't know how to do that. Getting a balanced game at all levels of play is
very, very difficult.
Yeah.
it is nigh on an impossible task.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, yeah, they had interviews with a lot of the Korean players, and they were basically all saying that Tracer needs a nerf. She's just OP.
Huh. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Maybe.
I think those are my main takeaways from watching Overwatch League. I think that... do you have a favourite team to watch?
Well, I'm supporting London Spitfire because, London, it's like my home team, right?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm sort of dual supporting London Spitfire and Seoul Dynasty just because I do love watching Ryu Jae-hong, especially when he's allowed to play Ana.
Yes.
And
because Ana things.
Just because Ana things. And also, I think that the attitude of the Seoul Dynasty is just so pleasant. Like, they really put a lot of respect out towards other players. And, like, people think that they're joking. They're like, no. We thought that this player played really, really well. You know, he's got so much potential. We really like watching him play, and we really like playing against him. It's like, yeah, sportsmanlike.
In fact, we were discussing this last night about what it is about the Korean teams which seems to give them something of an edge. And I'd say, in addition to them just being very, very talented, I think the lack of ego is huge for a game like this.
Yes.
Like, like in a game which is so team orientated, not having that same sense, like that westernized sense of like individual accomplishment, I think that's quite powerful.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
So other league things, there is an app for it.
Yes, and this is
I don't have the app, but you have the app, right?
Yes, I have the app. There are the reason I wanted to mention this is because the app is better than the website.
In what respect?
So the interface I find easier to navigate. Like if I want to find a game, I find it faster on my iPhone than I do on the website. It's
but then
better.
Can you get that off your iPhone onto your computer monitor to watch the damn thing?
So I end up using the website despite the fact that the iOS app is definitely better. Just like, I don't know where the disconnect is.
Well, they will have been designed by different people. They've been farmed out to different companies, right?
Yeah, I guess that they just had like the iOS developers just knew the interface better, like what works for people better. So maybe, I bet they did it for the same people who do other sports websites, whereas they did the Overwatch League one themselves or something like that. Maybe.
I have found it really hard to find the like replay VOD that I want.
Yes, especially without seeing spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God, the site is a nightmare for that. Also, just if it's a replay, I wish they'd edit them down some. I wish there was this is like the entire like recording if you wanted, but here we like cut out all the bits. Oh, here's something that I just don't understand, and I wish someone would explain to me. They have before each, like, not even before each game, but in the like presentation of the whole thing, they have 3 minutes of just showing a timer counting down. And it's like, you've literally got a desk full of people like whose job it is to talk about this game. Why am I watching like a timer?
It is really, really bizarre. And it's not like there's loads else that we should be, because like 3 minutes is not enough time for me to go make a cup of tea and come back. Like,
well, even if like you want a downtime to do that, that's what they could like fill it with commentary that you can either watch or not, and it's optional.
Yes.
So I just don't understand why they have this 3 minutes of like me checking Reddit. Like why?
I don't know. It really doesn't make sense. The only thing that I can think is they've pre-programmed, they've spaced it out and said, here's where ad breaks are going to be.
Yes.
Like, that is the only thing that I can think of them doing. But to me, it doesn't make sense because they don't have ads in there. So if they don't have ads,
what are we doing watching this clock going down?
Unless it's literally just so they can actually go and show people, look, here's where the ads go. Literally, this is where your ad will be. We are taking breaks and showing you how ads can work in this format.
I'm going to throw it out there that I'd prefer there to be adverts there than nothing.
Yes.
Because at least if I'm watching an advert, then I can look at Reddit and know that, hey, this advert is paying for the product I'm consuming. Fine.
Yes.
I'm totally happy with that. But when there's just nothing there, I'm like, why? I don't understand.
I don't know. You feel like you've done something wrong. Well, they've done someone's done something wrong. Something's wrong, and you can't fix it. What do you do?
Oh, in fact, speaking of adverts, this is something that I've kind of been like rattling around in my brain recently. Is that I was watching some Twitch streamer and they were talking about like how they have to show adverts because of contract they have with their sponsors, yada, yada, yada. And they hate adverts, but they have to do it anyway. And I was like, do you know what? I don't hate adverts. I hate bad adverts. And by bad adverts, I mean adverts which aren't targeted at me and adverts which just are boring and like too long. But this is one thing I've noticed. Sorry, just to continue my rant.
You go.
On regular Twitch, they've been doing adverts for the Overwatch League. And even though I've seen those adverts loads of times, every time they come on, I watch it and go, yeah, Overwatch League. That's a good advert.
This is something that I have known for a long time. People do not dislike advertising. People actually like advertising.
Yeah, like if someone's telling you about a product that you don't know about but you would like, it's like, oh, that's really good. I now know about a thing. This has enhanced my life. You
enjoy it because you're enriched with knowledge that you did not have beforehand. And if they're, a good advert will make you want that thing that you probably already wanted but didn't know about.
Yes,
it's a good feeling when you find. It's like when you find that that thing that fixes that problem that you have on a day-to-day basis. I don't know, maybe it's just a pot for your keys, and it's like, oh my goodness. I didn't think about just getting a pot for my keys, but there's just a place for me to put my keys, and they're tidy there. Like it's a dumb thing.
Another great example, like when an advert tells you that a band you really like has like a new album out. You're like, oh, sweet. Okay, I can throw some money down on that and have some music that I'll like.
Exactly. And so people like it. And what people don't like are low quality advertising and stuff that isn't interesting for them.
Watching Twitch and like when there's just loads of adverts for Call of Duty, like World War Garble, I don't even know. And it's just when I've seen that advert, which like lasts like a minute 30 or something, and I've seen it 10 times, and it's a bland, boring brown advert, and it's just anyway, we're way off topic.
Yeah. Was I going to say something about ads? Oh, the other thing I was going to say is viewership for Overwatch League has been amazing for a launch.
Yes.
Like, absolutely incredible. They sustained like at least 300,000 for the first week.
Was that just on Twitch, or was that on
that was just
formats?
That was just on Twitch, and I think they peaked at something like 700,000.
That's nuts.
It's a nuts amount of people watching. It's an absolutely batshit insane amount of people watching, and they've been sustaining like 50 to 100 to 150,000 people watching through the rest of the week, which is
just pretty good.
It is. So I think that they were saying that their target, what they would have been very happy with, was 30 to 40,000 people.
And they've just knocked it out of the park.
Knocked it so out of the park. So I'm just so happy about that, because I'm just like, this game is good.
I think anyone who's into esports should be happy about that, even if they don't like watching Overwatch, because this is almost like a big experiment for esports in general. Like, can you, with like those full, huge production values, reach an audience in this new way and a very professional way with all the teams and the setup and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, it's a very different format, and it's proving to be very successful.
Mm. So one other thing about the Overwatch League, which is interesting, in fact, we haven't even talked about the skins yet.
No.
Which are now in game. I mean, is there that much to say about them? They're good.
Only that I'm sad.
Oh. Because
I like a lot of the skins, and I kind of feel like I'd quite like to purchase some skins, like some coins, some tokens, and spend them on skins just to support the league, because that's the kind of thing that I like to do. I want to make sure that this keeps on going, so I'll give you a bit of money to make sure that there's, ticking the box, you're getting revenue from this thing. Good, excellent, wonderful. But I don't really want to wear any of the skins.
Well, okay, so this is something we talked about a couple of days ago, Grey, and I want to talk to Blizzard about this, because we didn't talk about it at the time in this context, but there's a really, really simple thing that Blizzard could do to make an absolute stack of money.
Go on.
And it's not even like making a stack of money in a way that people would find abusive. People would be happy. Okay, it's the idea that, you know how on your highlight intro for your play of the game, you can set it to like a number, which it'll just pick a random one out of.
Yes.
If they did that for skins, when you go into a game, like say there's 3 Reinhardt skins you like, so you just say, I would like it to be one of these 3 skins. At that point, you don't just get one skin you like for your character. It means any skin that you like, you are going to want to own, and you're going to put it into this random cycle.
Yeah, I think that'd be really good.
And that's just straight going to make Blizzard a stack of money, because all the people who are willing to drop money on skins, but they see a new skin and they're like, oh, it's good, but it's not as good as this one that I already have and I really like. Like, you could just have all those people paying you money, Blizzard. And here's the thing, it's the kind of change that everyone will just be like, oh, Blizzard has given us more options. You know, it's just a win-win, everyone.
Yeah, I agree. I think I assume there must be like a technical limitation, because it seems so dumb not to, you know?
I think maybe they just haven't got around to it, honestly. I think it isn't that difficult, I don't think. Maybe they just haven't run through that.
Yeah. Well, I remember at some point someone said how they're, because there are so many skins, there's this dynamic loading process, and so it isn't necessarily loaded into the map, so you can't change once you've started a game or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but have it random when you like log into the map.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, just have it one off. In fact, this, so I didn't put this in the show notes because it's uncorroborated, but there was an interesting tweet on a discussion about loot boxes and such. Someone who, you know, a lot of people seem to respond to, like people like Jim Sterling took it seriously and such, was saying that they weren't declaring their source, but they have a friend in Blizzard who was saying when they first were releasing Overwatch, they had to fight really hard to have the loot boxes just cosmetic and not have characters behind paywalls.
Yes.
And I can believe that in the current climate of gaming, they had to fight really hard for that. But I hope with the amount of money that Overwatch is making, it's proven to be a good decision.
Thank God, you'd hope so.
I mean, if they had like characters behind paywalls, that would so change the nature of the game.
I don't think I'd play this game if I had to pay for new characters.
I don't think I'd be here because it split the player base in such nasty ways. And
I'll be honest, I tried Heroes of the Storm, and my biggest problem was that I didn't have all the heroes, so I couldn't just try stuff out.
Yeah.
Like, it turned me off so fast that, I mean, I don't think I like the MOBA format anyway, but that was just such a huge barrier to entry for me. I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. I am entirely with you. I mean, maybe, like, because of, like, we know each other through a game progression that we happen to have both gone through, maybe we just both happen to have the same mindset on that front. But yeah, I'm totally with you. Yeah. Goodness, could you imagine we're still playing TF2?
Well, if Overwatch hadn't happened, I'd probably still be playing TF2.
Yeah, same.
Now,
crazy.
Talking about new skins, though, there's a very interesting one, which is, okay, so when they brought out the new League skins, they gave everyone 100 League tokens, I don't know what the hell they're called, that'll get you a free skin of what you want. Now, if you sign up on the Overwatch League site for promos and stuff, like give them your email address so they can send you stuff about the league, you'll get an extra 100 tokens. But, and here's the really interesting one, this offer is only up for people whose Blizzard account on Overwatch is in good standing. And that means if you've had a ban for toxic behavior, you cannot get these 100 free league tokens.
All I have to say is,
yeah. I mean, what I hope they do is they don't have it forever. I hope it's like, if you have not had any infringements on your account, do I mean infringements? Any
infractions?
Yes, that's the one. If you haven't had any infractions in your account in the last 6 months, then you get it. So there's an incentive to people. Like, if someone's been toxic and they miss out on an offer like this, if they try and not be toxic for X amount of time, then they get back in the good books. So I want something that actively encourages people who have been assholes in the past to not be assholes in the future.
It's a good way to kind of start chipping away at that, isn't it?
Yeah, but I was just so impressed by Blizzard doing this. You get, this offer's only open to people who, accounts haven't been, hit with you've been an asshole to people.
Two thumbs up.
Good on you, Blizz. Good on you.
Good on. Go. Yes. Well done.
Right. That's kind of all the league stuff, is it?
I think that if you don't remember anything else, we just leave it.
Okay, so a couple of little forum things that we have noticed. Movement changes.
Yes. So on the PTR, there are some changes to the base mechanics for movement in Overwatch. It's kind of weird and difficult to explain, but basically, it's the way that momentum works in Overwatch, which is so core and key to
the feel of how the feel
of it's meant to be really good for Winston.
Yes and no.
Okay.
So what it means is before Winston really couldn't jump up slopes because he just kind of stopped, and also the thing where you do a Winston launch and hold down space so that when you land you do an extra jump while keeping your momentum, that works a bit better on ramps. What it has done is there's a load of Winston jumps which just kind of don't work. Every now and then the jump is a bit inconsistent. You don't get anything. You'll just do a jump and go, ugh.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, so I presume that's why it's on the PTR and that's why it's going to get sorted. But right now it's not amazing.
Yes. And also there was this weird thing where if you were in the air and you're playing fire and you're just hovering, and usually what happens is if you were moving in one direction, to move in the opposite direction, what you'd have to do is kind of go through another direction. So if you were moving forwards and you wanted to move left, you had to move right then left in order to get the maximum acceleration. Yeah, it's really weird.
Wow, okay.
But you had to counter accelerate in order to gain your maximum momentum immediately, as quickly as you can. No, you have to go backwards. You have to go in the opposite direction to the one you're already going in. So you're going forwards, want to go left, you want to go left as fast as possible, you go backwards, which is the opposite direction, and then left. Weird, yeah. And basically they're trying to fix that so that now that as soon as if you're in the air and you let go of forwards and you press left, you immediately start going left with all the momentum you would have had if you'd done the weird thing that you had to do now. So yeah, it's so core to the game that it's really interesting. I think I didn't really notice much when I had a play around with it. I wasn't oh, this feels so horrible, what's wrong with people? No, it was just...
that's good though, changing a fundamental mechanic of the game like movement. If 20% of your player base are man, the game just feels weird, I don't like it. That's awful,
I absolutely agree. The fact that I couldn't tell was very buoying to me. It was I can't tell the difference.
Probably good.
That's almost certainly a good thing.
Yeah, if it fixes those niche circumstances where it's not right, but keeps everything else solid, then perfect.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, next forum thing. This is, I believe, Jeff Kaplan. Yep, saying that they are kind of looking at Hanzo.
What we assume this is them talking about the scatter arrow for Hanzo.
Yes, which we discussed earlier. There's issues with it.
It's the thing is, it's one of like Junkrat, not unlike Junkrat. It's not that it's unbalanced. It's just not fun to play against.
Yeah, and sometimes you get really random bounce kills by it. The arrow hits somewhere, there's a random reflection, you're on low health or ways away, and you just die, and you're like, what? You see it on the kill cam, and you're like, what the hell? That feels bad.
It's not a good feeling. I'm looking forward to the scatter arrow change because I suck at scatter arrows. Yesterday we were playing on it was on Blizzard World, and there's this little room on the last point, and the enemy Roadhog was in it, and it is an enclosed room.
You send an arrow in there, you're like, this is definitely going to get him.
Yeah, this is okay, all of those arrows should hit him, because there is nowhere for them to go. None of them hit him. Not a single one. I was just What the hell? What's wrong? This game is broken. This clearly isn't me. This is the game. The game is at fault. Fix your game, Blizzard, because he was in a closed room.
One thing I would say is like just a straight bounce arrow would be really interesting for skill shots.
Oh God, it'd be so difficult, but you'd have to do something where...
Well, you have the look through walls arrow, so you could see where they were. And what's made me think of this is Moira's orbs. Because there's a lovely skill thing with Moira's orbs. I mean, this would be like 10 times as, oh God, really? But
I think the problem is that would end up with Hanzo actually just being really, really, really underpowered.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying you just change the scatter shot to that. That'd be awful. But I mean, some people have been saying give Hanzo more tech arrows. You know, maybe give him an explosive arrow and give him a bouncing arrow. So he's got loads of weird things on cooldowns to use. I think that'd make Hanzo crazy fun to play.
I think I agree. But I think they're already running out of buttons with Hanzo, aren't they?
Possibly. I don't know.
Like you got your shift, you've got your E, you've got your Q, you've got your R. Oh, you don't have an R. You don't have a reload. Maybe as an interesting piece of tech, yeah, you could, instead of reloading, you could have like another ability there. Then again, a lot of people probably have like just auto reload and don't. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm down for it.
Okay, so lastly, we have a Jeff Kaplan interview which happened with a load of, I think it was YouTube personalities when they went over to for the beginning of the Overwatch League, and they all got to interview Jeff Kaplan. And we'll give you a link to it. He says a load of stuff in it, but the really interesting stuff is about Hero 27. And Jeff says they are in the late stages of playtesting. Like they're pretty much down and they're just kind of like tweaking things. But he says the new hero will be meta changing. Dun 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 dun.
What are your thoughts on meta changing?
Well, my thoughts on meta changing are massively swayed by what you said before we started like recording the episode, which was if a hero wasn't meta changing, what are they doing? Like a hero, they put a new hero into the game and the meta doesn't change. The only way for that to happen is if no one is playing the new hero, or they're so bland they just don't change anyone else's picks whatsoever.
Yeah, like
which, yeah.
It hopefully that's just a safe thing to say. Like to me, that was almost a non-statement because, like, if you're releasing a hero and it does nothing, it doesn't change the game. What is the point?
Yeah, like what is it doing?
Yeah, what I'm most interested in is where they're going to slot in the array of characters that we've got. What are they going to do? Are they going to be tanky? Are they going to be healy?
It's going to be a tank, right?
I assume so. I assume so, but
I can't see Blizzard releasing more DPS. Yeah,
I think the thing about the tank role is you've still only got two main tanks, as it were, like two anchor tanks.
Yes, although I mean, some people see Winston as a main tank, but for dive comp.
Yes, yeah, fair enough. Well, very different, but yeah,
yeah.
Like, so there's so much space for tanks to be explored in how they contribute to team fights. And I'm really interested in seeing that space be more explored. I think healers, it feels a bit like healers got to heal. And
yeah, there's only so many ways you can do that mechanic. Although, I mean, maybe I'm just being, uncreative in saying that. Maybe there's a load more ways.
Maybe. But I haven't been able to think of them. But with tanks, I just feel like the space that there is to be explored is still just huge.
Here's the biggest thing I'd say, which will affect where Blizzard want to put new heroes, and that is when Blizzard made the game, they thought the categories would be tank, support, defense, and attack. And I think at this point, Blizzard have realized that defense and attack are all just lumped into DPS.
Yes.
In which case, they have this massive imbalance in what characters they have to fit different roles. Which is they have like basically twice as many DPS as they do in the other roles. And I think they need to fix that, right?
Yes. Well, The thing is, I do think that DPS is one of the most popular categories, and so having variety there is good.
Whoa, but right, the reason DPS is popular is because there's a lot of activity in those classes, and you feel you're not reliant on other people in the same way. What it seems to me that Blizzard have been trying to do with their new healers in particularly is make them much more active, make them much more like feel like they have carry potential. And even if, you know, oh my God, my teammates are awful, but it's okay. If I play really good, I can carry this. And in fact, they've even done that with, say, the newer tanks like Orisa. Orisa is basically a very active version of Reinhardt.
Yes.
If you see what I mean, you know? Not entirely. Like, it's not like Reinhardt isn't doing anything. I would be the last person to say that. But Orisa feels much less reliant on the rest of their team than Reinhardt does.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's probably where we should leave it.
Yeah, it's been a long episode, but for basically 3 weeks crammed into one, I think that's okay.
I think we've done okay, given that it's 3 weeks crammed into one.
Yes. I've been Ruskeydoo.
And I've been Grey.
And we'll see you next time, unless I'm dead.
Yes. Well, you're not going to be dead. I'm going to bring you back from the grave if
I mean, even if I die, you'll, you know, grab Joker or whatever, right?
I'll do an episode.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Through my sobbing.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Anyway, goodbye.
Goodbye.